Hello, today we're going to work on discount, markdown, and sale price review for the quiz, which will take the following lesson. We're going to complete the three methods that we discussed, and you can choose what method works best for you. So here's the situation we're going to be working with. Janae bought a bike that regularly costs $108. The bike was on sale for 30% off. How much will she save? What is the sale price? Use the three methods we've discussed to find the answers. So you can see that we're going to put our answers on these lines, and we're going to start out with the tape diagram. So first we want to highlight important information. This bike regularly costs $108. It's on sale for 30% off. And they want to know how much did she save? That's the discount. And what is the sale price? That's how much we're going to pay. So a tape diagram just generally looks like a rectangle. So we're going to start with that. So we're going to have our rectangle. And again, if you don't have that, you can always draw it just like I did. The clue word 30% off means that we're going to cut off approximately 30%. Again, we don't have to be exact because we're going to use this to label. So first of all, I should have started out with the fact that this whole bar, before we chopped any part off, was 100%. And this whole bar, or rectangle, represents, in money-wise, $108. So we have the top, which we work with percent, and the bottom, which we work with money. So when we cut off this part, this is representing 30% off. And this is the amount that we're going to save, the discount. And then to find the other amount, we take 100% and subtract 30, part we cut off, and we're going to get 70. So this part of this tape diagram represents 70%, and this is the amount that we pay. So what we're trying to find is the amount of money that we're going to pay and the amount of money that we're going to save. So we're going to work with the save discount first, and this is what we're given for save. So we're going to start with our equation. P equals 30%, where the rate is, and that's $108 as the total. Before we continue, we want to scoop our decimal or divide 30% by 100. We're trying to change the percent to a decimal. Or you could scoop the decimal back twice. So that's going to give us 0.3 on the calculator, or 0.30 if you prefer, times 108. So please pause and use your calculator. So that would be 32 and 4/10, 32.4. Now, we have enough for our answer, but we just need it to be money. So money would be dollars, dimes, and pennies. And since there's nothing in the pennies column, we're going to attach a 0. So that's how much we're going to save. This is our save amount. Now we're going to do another equation to find the sale price, but our equation is going to look very similar. We're going to start with P equals, well, this time we need the pay percent. So we're going to write 70% times 108. Again, we have to move the decimal back twice. That's like taking 70 divided by 100, the most accurate way. Or again, you can move the decimal back twice. That gives us 0 and 7/10, or 0 and 70 hundredths, times 108. So again, pause and use your calculator. And the answer is P equals 75.6. So that's the amount that's going to be our sale price. But again, since this is money, we're going to write it as $75.60 because we need dollars, dimes, and pennies. So those two numbers, if you want to check on your calculator, should add up to 108, and they do. So we already know our answer, and we expect to get the same answer each time. We're just going to use a different method. So the advantage of this method is we're usually given the discount amount. So we're going to use that percent. And then after we find the discount, we're going to subtract it from the regular cost. And so we're not going to write a tape diagram, so we're not going to have to figure out the other percent. So whether that's an advantage or a disadvantage, you can decide that. So we're given this 30%. So we're going to start by writing 30 over 100. A proportion is two equal ratios. Next, we're trying to figure out the amount of money that is the discount. But we know the total cost is $108. So now we want to cross multiply. 100 times x is 100x. We need our equal sign. And 30 times 108. Pause and use your calculator. And that is 3,240. So our final step now, we want to know what x is, the amount we're going to save, or the discount, and we have to divide by 100 on both sides. And when we do, we get x equals 32.4. And hopefully that looks familiar. That's what we had up at the top. In fact, if you recall, we had to divide by 100 to make this percent into a decimal. And here we divided by 100 to get the final answer after we cross multiplied. So we're getting the same answer. But just like before, we have to acknowledge that we just found the discount, which is $32.40. Now, in a word problem, we would only write that if they ask us what we save. That would be the answer if they say what we save. If they ask what the sale price is, we have to go one extra step. And so this would be the disadvantage of this, knowing that, okay, whatever we have here would not be the answer to the sale price. It's the discount that we found. So we would then have to go one more step, which means we would take 108, and that we could attach decimals onto it, since this number we're working has a decimal, and we're taking away $32.40. So we're subtracting the amount that we save. And when we do that, we have to borrow here, and again, you can use your calculator, which is great. We always line up the decimals, just remember that we do this, and again, we have to borrow here, and it becomes, $75.60, which is exactly what we had. And again, you can use your calculator, 75 cents. So these two amounts should be exactly the same as these two amounts, okay? So let's try one more method. So our third method is write an equation and subtract. So the equation we're going to write is part equals rate, percentage rate, times total, and then we're going to subtract. So it's kind of a combination between the two. And generally speaking, they give us the discount amount, which will help us find the discount. But then we also have to go one step further, only if they ask, what is the sale price? In this case, this question asks both of these questions. But sometimes they might just ask what you save, and then you would stop here, or what you're paying, the sale price, okay? The nice thing about the tape diagram is it shows you both, but you have to figure out which one you need if they only ask you one question. So now let's get started. Let's go ahead and start our equation, which is part equals rate times time. And the percentage rate that they gave us in the word problem is 30%. Remember, the 70 we had to figure out. The total amount of the bike is 108, and we're going to divide 30 by 100 to get this percent in decimal form, or we're going to take the decimal and scoop it 2 times. When you divide by 100, that moves the decimal back twice. So we're going to get 0.3 or 0.30, whichever you prefer. And when we multiply that, because we did the same exact equation up above, we're going to get 32.4. And then we had to remember that we're finding money. So this is dollars, dimes, and pennies. Important to write that 0. So for this method, we're now going to take, once again, the amount that the bike costs. Remember, the clue word is 30% off. So we're going to subtract $32.40. And you can see we already did this. This step is the same as above. We would get $75.60. You're welcome to use your calculator to check. So the sale price, if we want to find that using this method, we have to do this additional step. So in your next lesson, when you take the quiz, you choose the method that helps you be most successful. Thanks for listening and have a great day.